Okay, before I get into the settings with this, just one thing to bear in mind that this is, for the most part, it's a coin shooting program, period. And I would primarily use this in parks or in areas where basically you're not relic hunting. Okay, if you're relic hunting, don't use these settings because you're going to miss a lot. But if you just want to go out to a park or some public area, maybe do some curb strip hunts or something like that, and you're looking for some of the better coins, then these settings will work well for that. But anything else, no. If you're looking for jewelry, no. If you want nickels, no. So just bear that in mind as I go into this. So if you're not familiar with a tone break, it's not the same as notching. So what you're basically doing is you're setting a number in your machine where you want the tone to change, basically. In a nutshell, that's what it is. So, and it's called a tone break. Now on the X-Terra Pro, you can only do one. You can only put one tone break in here. So you'll see as I go through the settings. Okay, so here, let's get into the settings. Now I've done a factory reset on this, so everything would be what it is when it's default. So it's been factory preset, and this is how your machine's going to turn on. Aside from the sensitivity, which I told you I already lowered that. So I've got all metal on. So you'll see that there's all of your segments here are highlighted. So that's all metal. You see if I turn it off, see it gets rid of some segments down here in the bottom where your iron would be. But I want that on. So we're in all metal. We're in part 1, which is 10 kilohertz. Use your cog wheel here in the center. One press gives you your noise cancel. The noise cancel I always do after I've put my settings in, and I normally do that after my ground balance too. So, but your next press of the cog wheel is going to give you your ground balance. And again, I do that after I put the settings in. Third press gives you your volume control. We're going to come back to this after we set the tone break. Right now it's set at 20. This is your threshold. I typically don't use threshold a lot, and I won't be using it for these settings. Now, your default for part 1 is going to be 5 tones. We're going to drop this to 2. So you just simply use your plus and minus here to adjust that. So we're going to drop that to 2 tones. Your default on your accept reject is going to be minus 16. The settings I was using, I had this at 0. Okay. Now let's go to the next. That's going to be your recovery speed. I had that at 3. Now we're going to go all the way back to accept reject. And accept reject is your check mark and X, okay? When you get to accept reject, you're going to long press your cogwheel button in the center. And you see when you do that, that gives you T1. That's your tone break. Now, trying to go out there coin shooting and looking for certain signals, certain coins, I'm going to run this way up. I did a lot of testing so that I could try to figure out how to dig less zinc pennies. If you want to dig the zincs, you can set it lower, but we're going to run this all the way up. And remember, this is segments of 4 all the way up to 76. Okay, that's where I set the tone break. So to get back to your normal accept reject, long press your cogwheel. And we're back there. Now, I said I was going to go back to volume. Let's go back to volume real quick. All right, here in the volume menu, if you set a tone break in here, you can actually set the volume of your tone break. So let's do that. It's going to be a long press of your cogwheel. You see you got T1 for your tone brake. Right now the volume's at 12, so our main volume's at 20, tone brake's at 12. Okay, you could set this wherever you want, but I recommend setting it lower than what your main volume is, okay? So our main's at 20, let's go up to 15. But the point is you want those tones that you necessarily do not want to dig. You want those tones to be a lower volume, but you can still hear them, okay, if that makes sense. Let's do a long press here. And that's it. That is the settings. So all those low grunts you hear, that's the stuff I don't want to dig. But that's something that I do want to investigate. So let's see. And it's right here close to the surface. And there it is. Got us another quarter.